people of the World Wide Web. Finally, even though we're into the first week of 2025, I have now found time and had time to digest all the movies of 2024. Now, I have broken my rules a little bit on this. So people who do or do not know, the way I do it is I watch stuff at the cinema. I've always gone, whatever I watch at the cinema, that is into the list and it has to be seen at the cinema. It has to be seen in that year. For me, I say I'm breaking the rule. If the movie came out in 2024 and I saw it in 2025, one of them will be included in this. And if you saw my review from yesterday, you will know what that is. But where it is, that is the case. I would never include streaming. I would never include normal TV or everything else. Those rules have kind of been broken as well. It has been not a lackluster of year, very much the early part of the year. I don't think the movies have been that great. I suspect writer's strike probably had a big impact on that because it seems to have affected a lot of stuff. As we've got further in the year, better movies have come out, and I say there has been Dune 2 and that did really, really well and came out in the early bit of the year, but you know, this is it. So there is a little bit, so apologies that obviously this movie first came out so late. I normally have it out before Christmas or by the end, or it comes out at the end of the year. The reason I need is I have some rules for how I normally watch movies. For me, I normally watch a movie and enjoy it at the cinema or not enjoy it, but then I try to watch it 6, 9, 10 year afterwards and normally buy it. In this case, a lot of stuff hasn't come out that I wanted to get, or I've just not bought it for one reason or another. So it's taken time, and the ones I have watched that a few that I have watched that I was tempted to put in there, when I watched them the second time, they went down in my estimations and then have moved around. So that had an impact, for one. Two, just before Christmas time, there were 2 movies I wanted to see. One at the cinema, and there was one that I missed, which is called The Substance. A lot of people raved about it. I had a Raccoon 10 voucher via Vitality, so there's no dodgy stuff. I saw it through a legitimate way. So I watched that just after Christmas and the New Year's because a lot of people raved about that, and I wanted to take that into consideration because I would have watched it. It just happened to come out at a time where I had a lot of stuff on, or I think I may have even been away that week. So I didn't really get to go to the cinema when you're not local or in the areas. So those are just what I wanted to throw out there and why it's taken me a little bit of time to digest it. Obviously, when I watch some of these movies in 6, 9 months time, they would have changed, but this is where my final list sits. So first off, I'd like to do an honourable mention. So this is where I'm going to use streaming. So I am a big advocate of going to the cinema. Streaming, there aren't really movies that really impact me that much. The one that did for me, and I know probably a lot of people have never even heard it, is the film Atlas. So this is Jennifer Lopez in space with giant robots. This is loosely based off a game called Titanfall, which I absolutely love. This is where I really enjoyed this film. The ending is a little bit meh, but for a film that was made, I mean, it would have looked really nice on a big screen. It probably would have been an okay, enjoyable movie to watch. I think it was a thoroughly enjoyable movie for streaming. I am still trying to get hold of a copy of it. It seems there isn't many copies in different countries out there. So I'm still searching, so hopefully I will find a copy for this. So this is kind of an honourable mention. That is where we sit. So first we start off with movie 10, and I have my list here. So this is Godzilla x Kong. So this is my steelbook that I got of this movie. So this was one of the earlier movies that I actually thoroughly enjoyed. For me, this was not only was it an enjoyable watch, and there was a lot of people who had gone against like the CG and how stuff worked, and yes, he looked pink, and I did have very low estimations of what stuff was up. For me, it was as soon as the little ape comes in and what he does with it and how they move the story along. And the fact that I'd only seen the first trailer, so a new thing I'd done over the years, I only tried to see the first trailer of stuff. And there was stuff in the second trailer that spoiled a lot of stuff, and obviously I missed all that. So that thoroughly enjoyed me. I thought the CG, for a CG movie where we've had a lot of bad ones, I thought I really enjoyed this. And stuff. There was some bits I didn't quite remember from the last movie, characters that come over, so I look forward to rewatching that. But that is number 10, so that is Godzilla Kong. So number 9 on my movie, this went down a little estimation when I rewatched it recently, but yeah, this is Boy Kills World. So this is Bill Skarsgård as a young lad who is trained by the shaman to basically kill Wonka Jansen's character and this basically evil horde. He is deaf. He can't speak because he's had his tongue cut out and his eardrums been burned, so he can't. So he has the voice of Archer. If you've seen that TV series, he narrates it. It's very bloody, very gory, good animation, good martial arts all the way through it. Very silly stuff that happens. It was just something so original and left field. I really liked it. This gave me hope for Bill Skarsgård to do a really good Crow. Unfortunately, that movie didn't happen. But I like him. I liked him in it, and I liked him in this. I think he's in Nosferatu as well, so I look forward to seeing that. But that was number 9 on my list. So number 8, this is the musical genius of Wicked. So yep, I have been to see this at the cinema. Been to see this at the theatre even. I only seen it once, went to see it, and I actually thought they did it so well. Characters that I didn't like at first, I warmed to, and as time went on, I think the story did really well. And the lady who plays Elphaba, the Wicked Witch, I thought she was absolutely how I perceived her went up in estimations at the end of the film. I thought, oh, she was so far the best choice. They have nailed this. I look forward to see what they do with part 2. I'm not as excited for part 2 as I am for part 1, because obviously it has a Defying Gravity and there's such a big build up, but I'm sure hopefully they will pull something out for that for next year. But yeah, Wicked, number 7 on my list. So number 8 even, not number 7, apologies, I can't even count. So number 7 is Transformers 1. So yes, this has now come out. I have not bought it. I am a big Transformers fan. I obviously get back into the toys and really enjoyed the story, even though I was annoyed that a lot of people had streamed it, and a lot of people had, because of streaming and a lot of just people didn't go to see it. Obviously, it's one of these years where there weren't a lot of amazing movies, and I thought this could have been one in the start of something. And Transformer fans have been waiting since '86, so almost 40 years for a really good animated Transformers movie. We got one, and no one showed up to really see it. But I really enjoyed it. It's number 7. I will get it. I don't really like the Steelbook, so that's why I'm waiting for the Blu-ray to go down in price, or maybe the 4K. We shall see if there is too much of a difference between that. So that was number 7. So number 6 is probably, I think, earned the most money out of every movie this year, and it was Inside Out 2. So Inside Out 2, I was a big fan of 1, really enjoyed it, Bing Bong and stuff like this. My wife are big Disney fans. This was such a refreshing change that they took Riley on 2 teenagers, and even though they had these emotions, it's how they integrated them. And actually, I hope, even though people enjoy the story, that it opened their eyes a little bit to all these different emotions and how people handle it, especially with stuff with anxiety and stuff like this. It is such a big thing, I think, in this day and age, and can kind of be classed as mental health conditions, and I don't think people take these serious enough. So it was really good them open that for young people to kind of understand that a little bit more, but an enjoyable story along the way. And it was interesting of how, when we had children, we were only made up of a few emotions, but obviously we get more complex as time goes on, and how that all works. And I thought that was a very, very good, they did a massively good job. So that was number 6. So number 5, still not released out. This is probably one of my favourite, or what I could probably class as one of the best looking films I've ever seen animated wise, is The Wild Robot. So it is, I say, kind of original story. It's based on a book, I believe, and they animated this, and it's a robot, and how it does show, as I believe, like, you don't have to be blood related or the same species and stuff like this to be classed as family. And I think that for me, getting on in time and in life and stuff like that hits a little bit home more for me than maybe some other people. But it was just amazingly done, this CG, and how it done looks beautiful. It's consistent throughout. When they go to the dream sequence, they're very simplified, but still works well. And I think, even though I really love Turtles, and I have my problems with the animated Spider-Man movies and other stuff like this one is so perfectly consistent throughout all of it. Even like British I had with Wish and stuff like this one far excels what I thought. So that is number 5. So number 4, we get the part 1 of 4, Horizon. So absolutely love this movie. Was so excited to see. Well, wasn't excited to see this, but I was interested to see this. Come out of cinema, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for part 2, and obviously part 3 and part 4. And then they never showed part 2 at the cinema. And obviously, I think there will be a long time before we get this out. Obviously, I think AJ hit me up to this. It was a German release, so I bought this. I look forward to hopefully they owning every part of it and watching it. I know I think they're part of the way through 3. And obviously starting 4, so I think it should all get made, whether it makes a lot of money or not. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. I can't sing its praises much. It's such a diverse cast, and how there are aspects in Western movies that I'm not a massive Western fan, but portray aspects that I don't think have really come through on other Westerns that I've seen. You know, I've not seen a lot of Westerns, so that's not really saying a lot. But that is number 4. So number 3, and you'll realise this is part of the reason why I slowed this video down and why it's done. It is Better Man, the Robbie Williams biography. Obviously, you would have seen the movie review a day before this video drops. Absolutely stunning. You know, I was a big Robbie Williams music fan back in the day. When I heard about this movie, I wasn't too impressed. And a few clips, when I saw the trailer, they did an amazing job with the trailer, luring me in. And when I watched the movie, I was, you know, I felt sad. I was laughing. I was different. It just had all these elements that worked so well, and it shows for me, and it is the ones that really did well for me for movies, the higher ones, is movies like this where it takes you in and it shows you the sides of like alcohol and drug abuse and stuff like this. And you know that people always think it's, oh, if you're rich and famous and you've got this, and it goes, no, there's a lot of actually people deal with a lot of issues and stuff that it just is probably 10 times worse, because obviously they're celebrities and stuff like this. And the fact they kind of pulled back the curtain of this but made kind of an enjoyable story that people can at least watch it, enjoy, but then understand some dark sides that are there, but have a good time. I think that was a great thing. So yeah, Better Man, number 3, obviously from the director of The Great Showman. So number 2, so this is kind of a movie, and this was never released on streaming. This was never, or it hasn't been released on streaming yet, and it wasn't released at cinema. And this is Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul. So the return of Feathers McGraw. I am a massive Wallace and Gromit fan. Now, if people, and through the years of being like an animated fan, I've also seen stop motion animation, just what goes into it. This movie took 5 years to make. Obviously, they did reference Peter Sellers, who's not there, the bloke who covered him, did an amazing job. Didn't do a perfect job. There were a few little bits here and there, but me, my wife, and the parent-in-laws, we watched it all around their house because I don't have a TV license on Christmas Day, and I must admit that was a nice way to end Christmas Day watching that movie, because it was a really, really good watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I look forward to them releasing it in some format and me adding it to it, but it would just, taking account of character Feathers McGraw hasn't been in it since The Wrong Trousers, which I think is like 25 years ago or something like that, maybe even longer. And how they brought him back, and they've left it open for more, obviously, make you know, an enjoyable story and a connection and everything. And it just was perfect for me. There were little pun jokes, dad jokes, so to speak, and I love that stuff. So yeah, so that is number 2. So number 1, I have not put this movie as number 1 because it has got a lot of publicity. I will put that right out there because I know it's what it is, and it ends with us. So as you all well know, the actors are trying to sue each other and everything like that. Let's push that to one side. I don't care who said what. That's down to them to sort out. I came into this movie not really knowing a lot what it's about. People have read the book, and there is that big aspect, kind of a bit like Robbie Williams. It obviously does feature alcohol abuse, and that's not really shown. It is the same way with this, but the reason why this was my number 1 movie is because I went into it, not knowing what it is, but could enjoy it for what it is. When I watched the movie, and you watch it from start to finish, you come out of that movie realising what has happened, and your thoughts and feelings towards those characters are very, very different of how you are feeling throughout the film, or specifically in mine. I felt specific ways between certain characters, and then when the kind of big twisty turn happens at the end before we hopefully get the second film, depending on what happens, is I come out and went, oh my god, I didn't realise that. And I think having that influence on the audience and opening people's eyes up to this this thing that happens in life was so eye-opening that I was like, not that I could ever understand the situation because I've never been through what has happened in that movie and what it's trying to display, but it was like, I get it. It makes so much more sense of why people don't see this in modern day life, or it goes undiscovered and stuff like this. And obviously, it's very cryptic, so apologies that, if you haven't seen or don't know what it's about. I would watch a trailer. If you like the trailer, watch the movie. Ignore all the interviews, ignore what people are saying. Regardless, go in with an open mind and watch it. If you like the book or know what I'm talking about, then maybe you did enjoy it, maybe you're not. I don't know, with the bloke who directed it, I don't know what also starring in it, what impact he is in the second book, and if that will affect we never get one. It is what it is, but that has been my top 10 movies of 2024. Let me know your thoughts and feelings. Have you seen any of these movies? Do you agree, disagree? I know it's a bit of a weird with Better Man and Wallace and Gromit and stuff, and even mention Atlas. These are outside of kind of what I would normally do, and I change the rules, but it's my channel, it's my list, I can do what I want. Anyway, hope everybody has had a nice Christmas and a New Year's, and hopefully have a better 2025 than it was 2024. I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time. I'll see you in the next one.